This Shabbat, we celebrate the festival of Chanukah. It's Parshat Miketz, which speaks about the ongoing travails of Joseph and his brothers. But is there any connection between the story of Joseph and the story of Chanukah? At first glance, there doesn't seem to be any connection whatsoever. Chanukah is about how a band of Jewish people, Kohanim, from the tribe of Levi, the Hashmonaim, were able to vanquish the Greek army that had taken over Israel. And Parshat Miketz is about Joseph and his brothers and how eventually in next week's Parsha they will become reunited. But I think that there is a very subtle connection, and perhaps it's as follows. In the Torah portion we read that Joseph was a slave, not only a slave, which was the lowest person in Egypt, but he was a slave in prison. And overnight his fate and his fortune changed. He's taken out of jail. He interprets Pharaoh's dreams. Pharaoh is so impressed, he appoints him as the viceroy of Egypt. He gives him power, prestige, money, and he marries into a prestigious family. And suddenly Joseph has his own chariot, beautiful clothing, an Egyptian name. He's living the high life. Sure, he's got a lot of responsibility, but now he is almost number one. And that type of living can get to one's head and make a person very, very arrogant and cause them to forget God. Here he is, a slave, a former slave. He's living far away from his family. Why does he have to keep up the pretense of being a Hebrew, of being a Jew in this society? It's difficult, it's challenging. But he decides he's going to continue to live as a Hebrew. And not only that, but he names his children Ephraim and Manasseh to remind him of home. And we know that the blessing that parents give to their children on a Friday night is that they should be like Ephraim and Manasseh, like Joseph's children. Why Joseph's children? What's so special about them? Well, perhaps other members of the tribes. But the secret is that Ephraim and Manasseh were the only grandchildren of Jacob who grew up not in Canaan, but in Egypt. And yet they remained 100% faithful to their tradition. And that was because of the efforts of their father. So even though he was in this environment which was toxic, which was anti-Jewish, he remained a proud Jew. And that's really what Chanukah was about. The Greeks came, and the Greeks were not against Jews per se. They didn't want to kill the Jewish people, but they wanted to destroy their spiritual life. They wanted to take away their religion. They wanted to Hellenize them into the Greek culture. And many, many Jews fell victim to this. That the Hashmonaim were a band of Kohanim who said, no, we don't want this. It's easy to give in. It's easy just to do what the rest of the world is doing, to be engaged in paganism and materialism. But we're going to stand up and we're going to be proud Jews. So the two stories share a very strong connection. Joseph, who's in a society which is antithetical to everything he believes in, remains strong. The Hashmonaim, the Maccabees, who are in a situation where it seems the whole world is becoming Greek and being involved with Greek culture, which is not like Jewish culture. And yet they stand up and they say, we're going to remain strong Jews. So please God, this should be a Chanukah Sameach, a very joyful Chanukah, and a time in which we are able to strengthen our Jewish identity. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.